Welcome to this module on collecting your data. This brief module will focus on guidelines and considerations for collecting language data and analyzing the resulting data. There are some similarities and differences between the two research traditions in terms of the data you will need to collect in an original research project. In both qualitative and quantitative studies, researchers must collect data that describes your sample. For human participants, researchers usually devise a demographic survey that gathers information such as first language, age, gender, or length of time learning a second language. For corpus projects, they collect information regarding the number of texts included within the corpus, criteria for inclusion or exclusion from the corpus, genre information, textual and non-textual information such as register or use of graphics, and the total number of words within the text. Next, for qualitative research, the type of data collected is usually narrative in nature. That is, the data is in the form of words and extended responses. This data usually relates to participants' perceptions, opinions, thoughts, strategies, or procedures, and actions related to the research question. Narrative data is gathered through taking detailed field notes, recording and transcribing verbal data, and through observation protocols. For quantitative research, numerical data is the focus of data collection. Quantitative researchers should first organize numerical results and calculate the descriptive statistics such as the mean, median, mode, range, and/or standard deviation. Then they can run the numerical data of the variables studied, such as Likert scale results, test results, grades, percentages, or frequency counts. So what are the typical sources of qualitative and quantitative data? Researchers use research instruments to make data collection organized and easy. Instruments are simply tools used to gather the data in a study. Qualitative data can be collected through the administration of instruments like a questionnaire or survey, through interviews, via audio or video recording participants and transcribing the recording, or through observation protocols and/or field notes. Quantitative instruments include rubrics or grades, inventories like checklists or scales, Likert scales, tests, linguistic tagging, where there is some sort of numerical code assigned to certain textual or verbal features, and/or frequency counts. In your methods section, you should always describe your instruments carefully and how they were used to analyze your data. So what should you consider when going about data collection and starting to analyze the findings? First, you should always keep your research question in view as you collect data and analyze it. This way you can stay focused and not succumb to extraneous data. Second, even though it is good practice for various qualitative methods like interview, observation, or think alouds to audio or video record your participants, do not do so unless you have a signed consent form from your participants and have received IRB approval to do so. Third, consider doing a pilot of your data collection procedures. Practice on a small set of data that you won't use for your study so that you can know what issues in data collection and analysis might arise. Fourth, come up with an organization and an analysis strategy or system that works for your method, such as color coding, numerical coding, or organizing your data into an Excel spreadsheet. You should also type up any handwritten items and store the data in clearly described files on a computer. Lastly, don't be afraid of results that appear to be contrary to your hypothesis. Sometimes this is an important finding and can give us important information about language and possible future studies. Once your data is collected and organized, start to analyze your data for themes, patterns, and/or trends related to your research question and hypothesis. Try to stay as objective as possible in this process, especially when working with qualitative narrative data. Compare and contrast your findings to the results of the demographic survey or to the description of your corpus. It is also a good idea to compare and contrast your findings to the findings of the primary studies you read for your annotated bibliography and literature review. Once you have a picture of the themes, patterns, and trends of the data, you can then organize them into narrative and graphic form so that it is ready for your results section in the research paper. So there you have it. I recommend brainstorming various procedures for data collection and doing some piloting of these procedures before your full data collection and analysis. Go forth and collect your data.